It was a quiet Thursday night, just past 11:47 p.m., when my world turned upside down. I was lying in bed, mindlessly scrolling through Instagram, the soft glow of my phone the only light in the room. That's when the photo appeared, filling my screen with a sight that stopped my heart. My twin sister, Chloe, was wearing my engagement ring, a vintage Art Deco sapphire that had belonged to my fiancé David's grandmother. Her lips were pressed against his cheek, a triumphant smile curling at the edges. The caption read, "When you know, you know." Hashtag true love, hashtag meant to be, hashtag better choice. My first thought wasn't pain, rage, or heartbreak. It was absurdly practical. That's my favorite highlighter she's wearing. How typical of Chloe to borrow something of mine without asking. But this was different. This wasn't just a borrowed lipstick or a stolen sweater. This was my life, my love, my future, paraded on social media for all to see. I sat up in bed, my eyes glued to the photo. David's hand rested on Chloe's waist, the sapphire ring catching the light in a cruel mockery of the moment he'd proposed to me. The comments were already flooding in shocked emojis, "OMG, is this real?" and "What's going on?" from mutual friends who were as stunned as I was. Our wedding was just 2 weeks away. The invitations had been mailed, the flowers meticulously chosen, the cake tasted and finalized. My dress, a vision of lace and elegance, hung in my closet, tailored to perfection. 200 guests were ready to witness me marry the man I'd loved for 6 years. But there, on Instagram, David was now official with my twin sister. I scrolled through Chloe's stories, each one a dagger to my heart. They'd been at Chevra, the restaurant where David had proposed to me under a canopy of twinkling lights. There were champagne toasts, Chloe flaunting the ring to their waiter, and David's hands all over her in the back of an Uber. My phone buzzed incessantly, messages from friends. "Lauren, is this real? Honey, are you okay? I'm coming over right now." I turned off my phone, sat in the darkness of my apartment, and did something unexpected. I laughed. Not a hysterical, bitter laugh, but a small, quiet chuckle at the absurd perfection of it all. Of course, it was Chloe. It had always been Chloe, ever since we were children. Chloe had wanted everything I had. My dolls, my friends, my clothes, my achievements. She didn't just want them. She wanted them to shine brighter in her hands. She had a knack for making people believe everything belonged to her all along. It was a pattern so familiar it had its own rhythm. I'd earn something, Chloe would want it, Chloe would take it, and everyone would agree it looked better on her. My junior prom date ditched me for her because she was more fun. My spot on the varsity tennis team went to her after she convinced the coach I was too focused on academics. Even my college acceptance to Brown, she turned her waitlist into a full scholarship while I was left scrambling. But David? I thought David was different. 6 years of shared dreams, late-night talks, and plans for a future together. I thought that meant something. The ring, the venue, the life we'd built, it was all supposed to be sacred. Apparently, I was wrong. Chloe had taken the one thing I thought was untouchable. I got out of bed and made myself a cup of Earl Grey tea, no sugar, the ritual grounding me in the chaos. Then, I sat at my kitchen table and did what I do best. I planned. I turned my phone back on and sent a single text to my best friend, "Becca, I'm fine. Don't come over. I'll explain tomorrow." Then I opened my laptop and pulled up every wedding contract, venue, catering, flowers, photographer, band. I'd handled every detail because David thought wedding planning was girl stuff and Chloe, my maid of honor, had been too busy to help. The venue contract was ironclad, $50,000, non-refundable within 30 days of the event. The Fairmont Hotel's Grand Ballroom, reserved for the Lawrence Ashford wedding. David had insisted on the most luxurious venue in the city, saying, "Only the best for my bride." I smiled at the memory, then at the contract. Here's what David never bothered to learn in 6 years. I'm not the naive twin. I'm the careful one, the one who reads the fine print, the one who plans for contingencies. Every single contract was in my name, paid for with my credit cards, my savings, my meticulous planning. David had promised to pay me back later, claiming his money was tied up in investments. I'd believed him because I trusted him. Chloe always said I was too trusting, laughing, "Lauren will believe anything. Tell her the sky is green, and she'll start color coordinating her outfits." But there's a difference between trusting and foolish, and I was done being either. I picked up my phone and dialed a contact I'd saved months ago, just in case. Margaret Chin, the Fairmont's event coordinator. "Margaret, it's Lauren Ashford," I said, my voice steady despite the late hour. "I have a question about the Lawrence Ashford wedding on the 23rd. Is the deposit still non-refundable?" Her response was immediate. "Yes, absolutely non-refundable within the 30-day window, as we discussed." "Perfect." "I'm not canceling," I said, "but there will be some changes." "What kind of changes?" she asked. I smiled. "For starters, it's not going to be a wedding." The next morning, I woke to 47 missed calls, but ignored them all. I went to work, where corporate law waits for no personal drama. My assistant, Priya, looked at me with concern. "Lauren, I saw Chloe's post. Are you okay?" I brushed it off. "Can you push the Hartman meeting to 3? I need to make some calls at lunch." She nodded, respecting my boundaries, which is why I adored her. At noon, I locked my office door and got to work. I called Party Plus Rentals. "This is Lauren Ashford. I need to make changes to my order for the 23rd. Then Waterford Catering. We're switching from a plated dinner to heavy appetizers. Same head count. And DJ Martinez, instead of a wedding playlist, I want your best club mix." By 2 p.m., I'd transformed my wedding into something entirely new. The venue, flowers, and time stayed the same, but the essence? That was evolving into something bold, something mine.my. Phone rang, David. I let it go to voicemail. A text followed, "Lauren, we need to talk. This isn't what it looks like." Then another, "Please don't do anything crazy with the wedding stuff." And another, "Chloe says you're not answering her." This is childish. Childish? The man who was sleeping with my twin sister 2 weeks before our wedding dared to call me childish? I texted back once, "The wedding contracts are in my name. Do what you want." Then I blocked his number. That evening, Chloe showed up at my apartment. I watched her through the doorbell camera, standing there in my favorite jacket, when had she taken that, holding a bottle of wine like a peace offering. "Lauren, I know you're in there," she called. "We need to talk, sister to sister." I stayed silent. "Look, I'm sorry about how you found out, but you can't ignore this forever. We have to figure out what to do about the wedding." As if she had any say in it. "Lauren, open the door. You're being ridiculous. It's not like you and David were happy anyway. You were always complaining about him." I had never complained about David, not to her, not to anyone. I thought we were happy. She left after 20 minutes, sliding a note under my door. "You always were a sore loser. Call me when you're ready to be an adult about this." I threw it in the trash and went back to my planning. The days leading up to the 23rd were a whirlwind of controlled chaos. I excelled at work, nailing the Hartman deposition while fielding frantic calls from vendors David had tried to cancel. "Miss Ashford, a Mr. Lawrence called about canceling the flowers." "He's not authorized," I replied. "Proceed as planned." Another, "Some guy named David says the wedding's off." "The event is still on," I assured them. Each vendor confirmed what I already knew. Only I could make changes, only I could cancel, and I wasn't canceling anything. Meanwhile, Chloe's Instagram became a masterclass in rewriting history. Photos of her and David appeared with captions like, "Finding love in unexpected places," and "When someone sees the real you." She posted throwback photos from family events, circling herself and David in the background with arrows and hearts, as if they'd been destined all along. The worst was a photo from my last birthday party, David's arm around me, Chloe on his other side. She cropped me out and wrote, "Even then, we knew." My friends were furious, my mom disappointed but unsurprised, my dad offering to handle David. I told them all the same thing, "I'm fine. Just wait." On the morning of the 23rd, I woke up refreshed, no tears, no ache, just calm determination and a spark of anticipation. I slipped into a sleek white jumpsuit I'd bought to replace my wedding dress, expensive, stunning, and entirely me. I did my makeup flawlessly, adorned my grandmother's pearls, my something old, and drove to the Fairmont. The ballroom was breathtaking, White roses and peonies in full bloom, twinkling lights, tables set with crystal and gold. It was the fairy tale setting I'd dreamed of, minus the wedding. Margaret greeted me, clipboard in hand. "Ms. Ashford, everything is ready as requested. The adjusted arrangements are in place." I picked up a program from the welcome table. Where it once read, "The wedding of David Lawrence and Lauren Ashford," it now declared, "Lauren Ashford Presents, a celebration of dodged bullets. An evening of new beginnings. Open bar, no speeches, dancing required." By 6 p.m., guests arrived, confused but intrigued, dressed in their wedding finest, whispering, "Is this real? Did she really? This is iconic." I greeted everyone with a smile, confirming, yes, this was real. Yes, I'd turned my canceled wedding into a party. Yes, the open bar was flowing. My college roommate rushed over. "This is the most badass thing I've ever seen." "But are you okay?" "I'm great," I said. "Grab a drink." The signature cocktail is called Better Off Without Him. By 7 p.m., the party was electric. The DJ spun club hits, guests took shots at the bar, and the photographer captured genuine joy. Then, they arrived, David and Chloe, standing in the doorway like deer in headlights. He wore the tux we'd picked out together. She wore a white dress, not quite bridal, but close enough to scream her intentions. The music didn't stop, but conversations faltered. All eyes turned to them, then to me. I walked over, champagne flute in hand, smile radiant. "David, Chloe, so glad you could make it." David's face was red. "What the hell is this? You turned our wedding into a party." "Yes," I said calmly. "Since you decided you didn't want to marry me, I didn't want to waste a perfectly good venue, flowers, or catering, all non-refundable, by the way." Chloe stepped forward, her hand on David's arm, my ring glinting. "This is insane, Lauren." "Can't what?" I asked. "Use the contracts in my name for an event I'm paying for?" "Actually, I can." David grabbed my arm. "Stop this. We can talk like adults. Like the adults who started an affair 2 weeks before their wedding?" I shot back. "It wasn't an affair," Chloe insisted. "We fell in love. You can't help who you love." "You're right," I said, removing David's hand. "You can't help who you love, but you can help who you lie to, who you betray, who you humiliate on Instagram." David stammered. That was Chloe's idea. "Oh, now you're throwing her under the bus?" I said, raising an eyebrow. "How romantic." The crowd was watching, some recording. I raised my voice. "The best part? All those contracts you were so worried about? They're in my name. The venue, the catering, the honeymoon package to Bali, everything." David's face paled. "The honeymoon? Oh, didn't Chloe mention? I canceled your tickets yesterday. Got a full refund since I bought them. But don't worry, I'm still going. Becca's coming with me." I waved at Becca, who raised her martini in salute. Chloe shrieked, "You can't do this. This was supposed to be our day." "Your day." I laughed. "You wanted my fiancé, Chloe. You got him. But you don't get my party, my venue, or my day." "We'll sue you," she spat. "Breach of promise." "Good luck proving that when you broke the engagement," I said. "Intentional infliction of emotional distress?" "I have your Instagram posts calling me pathetic and boring, saying David was settling. My lawyer says I have a better case." I stepped closer to Chloe, whispering, "You've taken everything from me our whole lives, my toys, my friends, my opportunities. I let you because I thought keeping the peace mattered more than keeping score. But you crossed the line. You tried to take my future, my happiness, my life. You want David? Keep him. Enjoy wondering if he'll trade up again. Enjoy planning your wedding on your own dime. Enjoy explaining why you're wearing my ring." I straightened, addressing them both. "You have 2 choices. Leave quietly and let me enjoy the party I paid for, or stay and watch 200 people celebrate that I'm no longer marrying a man who'd sleep with my sister." David muttered, "This isn't over," but they left, Chloe's white dress a beacon of shame as they slunk away. The room erupted in applause. "To Lauren," someone shouted, and suddenly everyone was toasting me, hugging me, calling me a legend, a queen, an inspiration. We danced until 2 a.m., ate the spectacular cake now inscribed with "Congratulations on your freedom, Lauren," and toasted with champagne meant for a wedding, but perfect for a liberation. My Aunt Patricia, the family truth teller, pulled me aside, slightly drunk on champagne and vindication. "You know the funniest part? That ring, your grandmother's ring? It's not real." I stared at her. "What?" "Your grandmother sold the real one during the Depression and had a replica made. She told me to tell you if you ever got engaged. The real ring should go to someone who deserved it, you." She pressed a velvet box into my hand. Inside was a stunning Art Deco sapphire ring, identical to Chloe's, but warmer, more brilliant. "Grandma always knew which twin was which," Patricia said. "She said you had the better heart." I slipped the real ring onto my right hand, a gift from a grandmother who saw me clearly. The party ended with me surrounded by real friends, real family, real love, not the romantic kind, but something deeper, the kind that shows up when your world falls apart. Monday morning, I walked into work with my head high. Chloe's victim-playing Instagram stories had spread the tale, but the narrative wasn't hers. I was the woman who turned heartbreak into a party, who refused to be a victim. My boss called me in. "Heard you had an interesting weekend." "You could say that," I replied. "That took guts," she said. Now, about the Stevenson merger, life went on. 2 weeks later, on a Bali beach with Becca, sipping my ties, I got a text from an unknown number, a photo of Chloe and David at a rushed City Hall wedding. She wore a cheap white dress. He looked miserable. The caption read, "True love won't wait." Becca nearly choked laughing. She really thought she won. "She did win," I said, raising my glass to the sunset. She won a man who cheats with her sister, a fake ring, and a future of wondering if she's the better twin or just the available one. I looked at the ocean, vast and full of possibility. My grandmother's real ring caught the light, a reminder that the best things come to those who know their worth. I'd lost a fiancé and a sister, but I'd found myself, and that was worth more than any wedding deposit. Please feel free to comment below if you liked this. Remember to like and subscribers for more.